I read a book a few years back about diet and exercise. It was geared for busy working professionals. The basic argument was that a lot of people actually do exercise and they put in a lot of time, effort, and energy into it. But what they do is ineffective because although they're trying really, really hard, they're not doing it right. What the author was getting at was this: it's not, if you're not trying to be a professional athlete and you're just like a middle aged person and you're trying to optimize your health, then you need to work out smart and not hard or long. He begins by describing this idea called the minimum effective dose, which is a term used in medicine. It is the minimum dose or concentration of a drug that produces a biological response that you want. For example, if you have a headache and you need this much Tylenol to make your headache go away, if you double the dosage of Tylenol, it doesn't actually make you even less headachy. It's a waste of Tylenol. In fact, it's probably going to hurt you. Or if you need 90 milligrams of vitamin C per day, so I'm told, and that's actually good for your body, right? But if I take 180 milligrams a day of vitamin C, which is to double the dosage, I'm not going to get twice as healthy as an ordinary man if I took 90 milligrams. That extra 90 milligrams just actually goes down the toilet. It's a waste. It doesn't really help you much. So you just need enough. And after that, you're just wasting your time. And so it is with exercise, the author was trying to say. For the purposes of an average person trying to stay reasonably healthy, heavier weights and longer workouts are not necessarily better. Just trying to say that based on science, this is how many push-ups you need to do and how long you should run. And beyond that, it's actually just diminishing returns. You're not actually getting much healthier. You're just making yourself tired and making yourself prone to injury. This little video is not about how to stay physically healthy. It's not about diet or exercise advice. I want to think about this idea called a minimum effective dose. And I think it's actually the organizing principle or paradigm of our modern busy lives, even though we don't call it that. Let me give an example. I remember in grad school, I was taking about 4 or 5 classes a semester, and each class met for 3 hours a week for one meeting a week. And for each class, we were assigned one book, which is about 600 pages usually. So that's about 3,000 pages a week. 3,000 really hard pages. And at first, I tried to read every book very carefully. I read every word, I wrote in the margins, I took notes. It was undoable. Someone finally told me no one, including the professors, expect you to do what you're doing. There's a way to read books in which you are extracting data from the books and you're extracting what is necessary to know to be a critical, knowledgeable person. I mean, in other words, I had to learn to read more critically and strategically. It wasn't easy, but the point is, you don't read 3,000 pages a week, word for word, line for line. You just read strategically, critically, get what you need to know, and then move on to the next book. Again, that seems like another version of the minimum effective dose. I think a lot of our working lives are like that. The stuff that needs to be done is huge. Deadlines are looming. So one way or the other, we get the work done and on time. And we put in enough time to to do the job and then get out of it and move on to the next task. Someone once told me that they watch Netflix on double speed. I didn't even know you could do that. It seems to me that viewing has become not experiencing and immersing yourself in the art and the world of the film. It's become about uploading the data of the movie into your head in the least amount of time, and so you can presumably move on to the next film. That seems to be the way of the modern world. And I wonder if that affects the way we understand our relationship with God, or if that kind of minimum effective dose seeps into our spiritual lives. Do we think of our spiritual lives in terms of the minimum effective dose? Just pray enough to get the job done, read the Bible, just read enough of the Bible to check it off the to-do list, go to church to get it done. I'm just asking, just wondering if the way we conduct ourselves in the world, the way we need to conduct ourselves in the world, to keep our jobs, to get through school, we have to do it that way. I understand, but does it start encroaching into our spiritual lives? I hope you have some really good friends. I really do. And if you are a good friend, then you don't operate your friendship on the minimum effective dose principle. It's not about uploading their data of your friends into your brain in the least amount of time. Spending time with them is not a task to knock off. I would hope that you delight in your friends, love their company, love their presence. You don't rush the time you have with them. Just something to think about.